With New Year, we've got new EU for Dev Diary giving us more information about new mission trees for Ming, Qing as well as Chinese warlords, new estate, reworked Emperor of China and mandate mechanics, as well as China receiving their own holy orders with specific modifiers. Thanks to courtesy of Paradox Interactive, I actually did get access to this Dev Diary one day before all of you, so I could prepare the video for the release of this Dev Diary. So what kind of information we are getting today? Well, most importantly for 1.35, they want to rework Ming and its neighbors, how it's working. Mainly what is said here that even though Ming got a rework on 1.21 Mandate of Heaven DLC, it is, this kind of a gameplay that you have heard earlier is dull. Because if you know how to play, again, make Ming very easy peasy. What they want to do is to give more flavor to this country and making it more demanding, so it's actually gonna be a fun gameplay over there. This is a first look of the first part of the Ming mission tree, and this is mainly, I believe, about fixing the country and making it stable. Interestingly, this update will release earthquake events for Ming, making them very impactful, but at the same time you can elevate them by constructing certain buildings or completing the right missions. It's something similar to Japan getting tsunamis, getting like 100 devastation everywhere. Another interesting thing that they are changing for Ming is that autonomy of the provinces of the empire will increase at a minimum of plus 25%. Then of course you have some possibilities to reduce it, or it might end up even higher, of course depending how you deal with certain events. What is interesting, they are adding a new estate to Ming, which is called eunuchs, which is a powerful body of advisors in the emperor. Eunuchs are having a couple of privileges, and their bonuses will scale depending on the crownland ownership of the eunuchs. The more ownership, the better bonuses you're getting. So for example, this one is giving 30% improved relations at 59% ownership and decrease the birth desire of the subjects, but we also see that each of the privileges is giving you yearly corruption. So you can see even more yearly corruption, even more yearly corruption, even more yearly corruption, but it's still really worth, because if you're making a lot of money, you can invest that into these great modifiers in yearly corruption. To make the eunuchs even more impactful and more historical, they have their own disaster, which is different to the standard estate disaster that we know. This is designed to hurt us far more, and it will be far harder to get rid of the disaster, because to get rid of it you need to decrease the influence significantly, and you can see that we have a decision to cart the eunuchs, which will lose your free stability, remove one random privilege that they're having, and also, of course, you're gonna also get some rebels, which upon occupying every province you're gonna take 10 mandate from you, so you need to be very cautious about this disaster. One more interesting fact is that eunuchs start with 60% of the crown ownership and you only start with 15%. So it's not 30% like in majors of the countries, so you can't really take much from the other estates. How about some of the rewards from the missions? You can see that there will be a couple of missions focused on expansion, either diplomatic or military, so that's good that, again, the new mission trees are representing a lot of flexibility, a lot of choice of how you want to play. So for example, when you get Zlewikk diplomatically, you can see that they're gonna receive multiple bonuses, while if you do it by force, so when you conquer those provinces, you're gonna get a different bonus, which is years of separatism in Sanghong decreased. And similar, for example, with Tsang, and this is really interesting, because if you do it military, you can get perma CAF cost and CAF flanking ability. CAF only main gameplay. Some new thing that will be introduced to missions is what's called Event Insight. So when one of the missions is triggered event, like in this case the Karma Kagyu School, well, normally you have no idea what this event is gonna get you unless you check it. In this case, and it's a new function 1.35, there'll be a small introduction to what this event will be about. This is a great change and I love it. How about changes to mandates that are coming here? Well, most importantly, mandate will be easier to get and to lose, because there will be more reforms. You remember that in the past, those I think 5 or 6 reforms that could take one after another. Well, right now you have 10 reforms to choose from, and in most of the cases you can decide on the order. Some of the orders will have requirements how to get them. So some of them require a mission tree, some of them are mutually exclusive, some might require a certain amount of reforms passed or picking a certain idea groups. So it's also very flexible and will depend on the type of the gameplay that you decided to follow. At the same time, you can see there will be plenty of new decrees with great bonuses, and what I mentioned at the very start of the video, they are gonna be the cohorts for China, which is called coordinator offices. This is the Pushganshi, Ashashi, and Dusi. What they are giving? It is tax meta. Local province governing cost. I really love this one bonus. Local unrest and production efficiency, and local recruitment time and friendly movement speed. I really feel like the second bonus could get a little bit of an improvement because the first and third are far more useful. About decrease, we have some examples over here like maintain growth modifier, all estates, loyalty, equilibrium, tech cost and institution spreads. We've got minimum autonomy. Yes, I really like it because this is giving us even more flexibility of how we want to play around with our mandate. Also, it's explained that they want to make the decrease even more dynamic, so some of the gameplay will depend on them, like for example some missions will require certain decrease to be opened, some of the bonuses of some decrease will be improved by the mission tree, or might be required for the certain reforms. Besides Ming, Chinese warlords, so you know, Shun, Wu, Yue, Jurchen tribes, Manchu and Jurchen will also receive a new content. I really like that they are making the Chinese warlords more fun, because I felt like I had thought a few times that I wanted to play over there, but this time I was thinking this is kinda dull, they don't have really a mission tree, the ideas are not too good. That's why I love that the new mission tree is coming, and when you take over the Mandate of Heaven as a Chinese warlord, you're unlocking a bigger mission tree. We have some examples of the bonuses, so Fall of the Great Ming is, I believe, probably when you fight Independence War or something. Wow. This is the first time seeing this bonus in game, and you can see if you complete the mission while we had 25% war score during the Independence War, yes, that must be against Ming, advances military technology by 1 level. So imagine declaring at Tech 5 being like 100% ahead of time. When you click this mission and you get Tech 6, which is improving your army significantly. That's one of the biggest, if not the biggest differences between the two technologies, between 5 and 6. It's a free win, even if you have like, let's say 40k or 30k against 100k of Ming, you might still win it. Some other bonuses is temporary death, cost advisor cost, all estates loyalty, and here legitimacy, which is anti-hit of the game, I love it, and perma projection. How about Jurchen tribes and Manchu? They also have a reworked mission tree. I really love it because I don't even remember the original one from 1.21. I think it was pretty basic. So what do we have here? Subjugating neighbor hordes, knocking on the gates of Great Ming, and I think what we have over here is an events path. The rise of Nurhaci, so that gives you a strong ruler, which is 3653 general with a special trait, Dragon Tiger, 10% movement speed and 10% CAF compatibility. Oh, in the future dev diary we'll see more traits for the leaders. I love it. That is gonna make the gameplay even better. And he's gonna be minus 90% to advisor, so gonna pay nothing for him. So this guy and his events path can give you siege ability and global attack and dice roll bonus. I love it. This is also interesting because it looks like Jurchen mission tree allows you to change the country name to later Jin, and this gives you Nurchari's reforms events, which is I think what we just saw. Some of the Qing missions, so of course when you form Qing you're receiving a lot of new missions, I think also related to the Mandate of Heaven, because you need to take Mandate of Heaven to form Qing. So this Qing mission tree is giving some cool rewards, like for example special government reform, giving yearly meritocracy, yes, for the actual Mandate of Heaven gameplay, GAF capacity, all estates equilibrium. There's also gateway between East and West, giving plus 5 attrition and 5 attrition to enemies in a root dock. and a rampart at the same time. Oh yes, because you know, in the previous patches there was this thingy that to the new special units there was a possibility to unlock privileges, giving them additional bonuses. The best example I think are the Carolians, where you can unlock one of the 2 chosen privileges that are exclusive to each other. Over here you can see that we can improve our banners with additional 10% morale damage. This is also interesting, a dynamic mission. I'm really looking forward what exactly it's gonna give, because you can see one path here unlocks a permanent bonus to our goods produced and a new unique state edict. What the hell is gonna be? Or lock down the ports will give us some special mechanics around the trade of the others. Our role will be defined as a great engineer and upgrade workshops we may have in the promises affected by the Grand Canal missions. Nice, instead of workshop you get the counting houses, let's say 100 years before they're even available. 4th level plus 2. So does it mean I can have a 4th level 11? Oh yes, and our favorite, the great tax reform happens. What does it do? Is it the tax meta? Access to more provinces with precious metals, access the treasury advisor with a significant discounts, and Potosi silver. Okay, I love it. Then we have Zishi or Shengshi rewards. So it's yearly meritocracy, reform progress, and all estates loyalty equilibrium and bonuses to a ruler, or all powers cost until the end of the game. Alright guys, this is all for this dev diary. I hope that you did enjoy it and you got some additional information thanks to my comments. And if you did enjoy it, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel to get notified about the next week dev diary that's gonna be about the Ottomans.